Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming. Just for quick intros, my name is Akash, and I have with me Subrat Kar, who's the founder of Viduli, which is a YouTube slash video analytics company based out of Noida. We have Ankit Mishra with us, sitting in the center, who's the founder of a company called Story Express. This company helps, very interestingly, SMBs create videos very quickly. And then we have, on the extreme end, Sai Srinivas, founder of TV, which helps you stream anything, particularly videos, on your TV from anywhere. So we've got a good mix of entrepreneurs, all around the different spaces of video. One is helping you stream content onto devices. One is helping you actually create videos. And the third one is helping you analyze those videos. So it'll be an interesting panel. I think the reason that this is very interesting for us is that we're seeing extremely strong adoption trends of video. 60, 70% of overall traffic. Is this better now? So I was saying why video is very interesting for all of us is that about 60, 70% traffic globally on internet is from video. We have already seen big destinations like YouTube being created. And that's not the end of it, because Facebook has gotten into it totally and fully and are now challenging YouTube's, call it supremacy on video. The trend is not so much only restricted to consumer side, but on the enterprise side as well. We are seeing corporations adopt video as a very core part of their marketing strategy. So I think video is everywhere. As consumers, we experience it on an almost daily, hourly basis, and corporates are not untouched by it. So I think we'll go into some of these overall industry dynamics that are at play at video, and also try to understand from our panelists, what makes life interesting in each of your areas that you are, kind of helping further the problem statement. So let me just start with a little bit of a high-level question, which is also the topic of our panel. It's interesting. In US, there's a trend called cord cutting, which we are seeing increasingly happen maybe in a different way in India as well. So my question to the panel, the first question is, do you guys see TV in a country like India to be as relevant as it was? If it is going to be as relevant as it was, would you believe that companies like TV, who are helping you stream content, grab more consumption share, or you will see a shift of consumption totally shift to mobile devices, and therefore TV becomes totally relevant? So let me start with Sai, with that question.
Okay, so it's kind of biased because I'm always going to support my company, but
that's why the question to you.
So one of the really interesting stats is that everyone keeps going gaga about mobile phones, right? All the mobile phone apps which have any decent traction in India have all done television ads. Every single one of them have done television ads. The one screen in India which is accessible to almost every Indian is a television, and it's not a mobile phone, by the way. Every Indian, even in the smallest of the smallest village, has a television that he can see. It's not a smartphone. A smartphone will get there. It'll get there in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But a smartphone is definitely not going to be 20 inches in size, right? I mean, it's going to be a little weird if it's 20 inches in size fitting in your pocket, right? That is the difference that a TV brings into the picture. Like, a television is where you consume entertainment, where you actively consume entertainment. Mobile phone is more so where you passively consume entertainment. कि यार कोई वीडियो देखा फेसबुक में, कुछ शेयर हुआ, and देखने का मन किया, चलो देख लिया. But ऐसा थोड़ी होता है कि आप बैठ गए घर में और you put your mobile phone in front and say, आज मैं इस पे पिक्चर देखूंगा. वो नहीं होता है. Like, it's inevitably the television that grabs your attention and the television that grabs your interest. So I believe that mobile phone is going to be big, no doubt. I mean, it's quite obvious. But it is the television where people are going to pay a lot more attention to when they're watching more immersive content.
Understood. So now let me bring in the counter view. Yeah, I'm going to throw the question to Subrat, who's probably not so pro TV. But then, Subrat, what do you feel about content destinations? Of course, YouTube, which you draw a large part of your company from, but also the newer emerging destinations like Facebook and Twitter is getting into videos, and then there is this instant live streaming that is happening from platforms which are call it copies from Meerkat or Periscope, etc. So how is that consumption playing out in the overall video consumption, demography of India, in your view?
So I would say, TV is not going to, tap the 100%, by consumers to consume the content. I would say it would be a mix of both mobile and, TV. So for an example, if you look at the stats, currently, 20 to 30 age group of audience is actually consuming more content on mobile device just because of, high mobile internet penetration and rise of the original content creators like TVF, AIB, and short form of contents, right? But if you look at, the age group between 40 to 60, there is no dramatic change. They always, love to watch, consume content on larger screen just because of, they love to watch with friends and family, right? So at the same time, also there is a rise of, the mobile video live streaming apps like Meerkat, your Periscope, also like Insta Lively you mentioned, right? So of course, this kind of apps actually enabling every users to become a content creator, right? And you'll see, that will be a time, where these individual people is actually, monetize their talent, right? And also, same time, YouTube will actually, become play a larger role, enabling these users to create content.
Understood, understood. So I think what we are hearing is that, look, I think both will play, both will be large. There is a new segment or new consumption pattern almost which is emerging on the mobile format. But TV is here to stay as well. So I'll go to the neutral guy on the panel who doesn't have to do either with YouTube or with TV. Ankit, what do you feel about what you're seeing generally in terms of video consumption?
So in terms of the consumption, the content can come from anywhere, like be it YouTube or the live streaming or Instagram or the traditional TV. But the screen size will matter, right? So as Sai mentioned, right? So if it's casual content that I want to see on the go, it would be on the mobile devices. But if it's more immersive content, it could be, I can stream YouTube from on the TV, right? Using device like TV. So if it shows like TVF or AIB for that matter, so I would want to watch that content on a large screen when I'm home, right? So
I would actually, counter this question. So I don't agree actually, people like me, any youth audience, they love to, consume content, short form of content mobile, right? They don't prefer to watch on a larger screen, right? But like, content like movie, right? Let's say 1 hour, 2 hour content. I prefer go to watch it on a larger screen, right? Because I want to enjoy with my friends, right? Not myself. So for me, while traveling, while, even in office hours, right? Most of the us consume content, short form of content in office hour. We don't, watch content 1 hour, 2 hour content in office hour. And we analyze a lot of data and we see, more than 60% of, consumption, video consumption actually happens in between 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that is even in office hours, right?
So that's very interesting. I think these are some of the new paradigms which are emerging in video consumption, that people are actually snacking on content, short form content as well, quite prolifically. So I'll go to Ankit a little bit to understand, from your perspective, since you play in the corporate side of things. See, what touches us on a daily basis is the consumer side, because we are consumers ourselves, so it's easy to experience. But what we don't see is that there is a big paradigm shift which is happening on the corporate side as well as on the SMB side as well, where they want to project themselves as better advertisers, better brands, better companies to work with, and they're using video, probably in a more meaningful way. Can Ankit can probably talk a little bit about how they're doing that today.
okay, so essentially, what happens is whenever the advertising emerges along with the content, right? So if we look at 10 years back, all the content was text, or 5 years back it was images. So the kind of advertisement that these businesses were creating was more of, I'm talking about online ads, right? So they were more of image ads or the text-based ads. And on the other hand, big brands were using television to create commercials, right? But now YouTube has democratized the way we share videos, and now Facebook is also coming in, right? So if these businesses wants to create um, better ads, right? So let's say if my content is becoming more and more video, so there has to be same sort of videos, ads for these
So
businesses.
let's make it a little bit more meaningful for the audience here. Do you see or expect better conversions or CTRs or some of those other matrices which make sense for SMBs if they were video versus they were textual? And can you share some of those with the audience?
Okay, so like we are working with some of the Shopify stores, right? So they actually create product videos that they are selling online. So they see like about 50 to 70% more conversion for the products where they are using videos. Apart from that, now the Facebook is actually trying to push the video. So they are sort of coming with some algorithms which automatically boost the video post that you are putting on pages, right? So there are people who are saying that instead of image post or the links that you share on Facebook pages, if you share a video, you get 50 to 70% more visibility without even being paying for the promotion. Right?
Got it. So I'm going back to the point around Facebook versus YouTube. I think it's a welcome change. There was only one large destination called YouTube. That was the big Goliath of video consumption, at least on the consumer side. And now we are seeing some more democratization of that happening with Facebook entering, Twitter also getting to native videos, and then there's the live streaming video destinations also emerging very quickly. Subrat, can you talk a little bit about where, what are from your experiences? You watch these companies very closely, from Periscope to Facebook to, what are the metrics that you're seeing around these companies, and what's the relative scale of, let's say, Facebook versus YouTube? And how do you see that playing out in the next 2-3 years?
So definitely, I would agree. Facebook is putting a lot of bet to compete with YouTube video, right? And very interesting. I mean, recently Facebook launched their stats in public that they're clocking around 4 billion views per day, and even that is a very huge number. And even, but at the same time, if you look at YouTube. So it's very far, ahead than Facebook, what Facebook is trying to build in a video domain, right? The only challenge here is, it's a 48 hours game, right? So, but in YouTube, actually, any user can, discover any kind of content. But in Facebook, if a user, upload a video, right, you can actually, see that video only in the first 48 hours. After 48 hours, it will go down to a timeline, right? So that is a very big challenge in Facebook case, and that is how they're trying to place their video model among all content creators, right? They actually approach them. Can you hey, can you please put your content first 48 hours, then after either you go put it on YouTube or large screen, right? So that is how we are actually
Twitter.
In Twitter case, I mean. Recently, they just started their video product, and recently they launched a 30-second native video where you can actually share a Twitter native video in 30 seconds, right? But they saw, I mean, they did a pilot, right? After the pilot, they saw the metrics were tripled. So when you are tweeting single text or image format, so you are getting 2 or 3 tweets. But when started tweeting with a video, the tweets were tripled. So that is a metrics the Twitter recently released. And but I'll add one point. So currently the major problem with Facebook is the monetization, right? So if you look at YouTube, right, and it's far ahead than even Facebook, right, in monetization. But let's say you are a creator like AIB, right, TVF. You put your content on Facebook, right? Why would you put your content on Facebook, right? Because in YouTube case, YouTube shares a 55% revenue with a creator like AIB, right? But in Facebook case, it's still there, figuring out the model, whether I would give it a credit where I'll promote your video, or I would give you a 55% or 50% revenue cut, right? still they're exploring.
Understood.
Right.
I think what you're saying is that there is a short window before
Yeah.
Facebook figures out their revenue model.
It's too
You
early.
should, you should all post on
yeah.
Facebook and not so much on YouTube.
I mean, it's too early for them. I mean,
right.
uh,
So
even, yeah.
let me take that thread of monetization. That's a
Yeah.
very, very important subject. See,
Yeah.
unfortunately in India, the consumption is huge. We're a country of 1 billion people. The mobile device penetration is also humongous and growing. But people haven't figured out this monetization beast that well yet. Because in India, people typically don't tend to pay for content. And you see that there are 3 models of monetization. Either you do AVOD, which is advertising video on demand, or transaction VOD, or subscription VOD. So with that, I'm going to go to Sai and ask your views a little bit on how do you feel this whole monetization piece will play out in the unfolding era of probably India will be the largest country in terms of video consumption in 5 years. That's safe to say.
Yep.
How do you see monetization will play out here?
So, like, there's another model there where the VCs pay.
Yes. It can be short-lived, though.
But anyways, but I really don't see consumers paying for content in the longer run. I think content will be free. Consumers will not pay for it. I think advertising needs to become much smarter. Like, for example, with TV, the way we look at monetization, say a couple of years down the line, let's assume there are about 1 million houses using TV, right? Let's assume, one of the app guys here comes to me and tells me, hey, I want to advertise with you. I said, like, yeah, good. He tells me, I want to advertise to all the males between 25 and 30 who are living in Bangalore, Mumbai, and Hyderabad. Fine, you can't do that with traditional TV today, but you can do that with my device, because my device constantly tells me where it is from and which areas it is playing, so I can easily advertise there. You know what? I can go a level further. Let us take an app like, say, Swiggy, which does food delivery, right? It tells me I want to advertise to all the people in this particular age groups, in the particular cities, and I want to segment it into 3 parts, wherein segment A will have the segment A users have an app like Swiggy on their phone. Segment B users do not have an app like Swiggy at all. And segment C have Swiggy but haven't been using it. So advertising can just become so much like this that spillage on advertising will reduce, and automatically there'll be a lot more people who will be paying for that, and it'll be much cheaper. So content can actually be subsidized in the longer run, and people don't need to pay for it, especially when you have 1 billion of them watching.
But just building on that point, don't you think that the total advertisement market, if you cut the market that way, will be somewhat limited? Or if you can help us run through some high-level thinking on how big this market could be if it was only drawing from advertisers and not from the either consumers or content guys.
Fair enough. I'll just paint a small image there, okay? Let's just take the web advertising today, right? The whole advertising business of the web, where Google is so dominant, is probably a small portion of what the entire TV advertising business is across the world. If that web advertising business is able to sustain so many of these companies, imagine what a television advertising business can do for so many others. Just that picture.
Got it. No, that's very, very, very interesting, take. Any views from your side, Subrat?
So, I can only counter again. I mean,
please go ahead.
Because I mean, I'm a big fan of original, content creators, right? So, if you're creating, good quality content, I mean, people are ready to pay it. People are ready to consume for it, right? And also, at the same time, I agree, advertisers, need to think very smartly, how to target the users. I mean, through natively, right? So native advertisement can actually, bring a lot of change, in the consumption pattern. But yeah, I would say, I mean,
I don't think it's so much a counter as saying. I think the point that Sai is making is that monetization will primarily come from advertisements, and that's the way the industry will be supported. What you're saying is that the content does not need to be from broadcasters or be premium content, but it can actually be long tail of individual content creators or small channels aggregated within MCNs who can also play a dominant, not a dominant, but a large part of content pool creation. Of course, which can then also be monetized on advertising. But none of you believe that people will pay for, or there'll be ARPU-driven consumer side monetization, which is likely?
There will be. I mean, I'm not saying there will definitely be zero consumer payment. I'm just saying that majority, that industry will sustain itself on advertising. Industry. There will definitely be people like me who would probably want to enjoy 4K content without ads, and I'd probably pay for it. But for most users, I think Full HD with ads is not a problem at all. An example of this, by the way, is starsports.com. Starsports.com, when they launched in India, actually used to charge people $100 to watch the entire Ashes tournament. They realized that doing that is kind of foolish, rather than just giving it away free of cost and monetizing it on ads. So today you see Star Sports, every content that you see is actually free, and they monetize on ads. So there's a proof of that already.
Got it. No, I tend to believe the same. I think probably 2-3% of users will latch on to the premiumness of the content and therefore pay something for it, but the large dominant population will end up being monetized through advertisements. And some interesting stuff is already happening. The music guys, globally as well as in India, are also entering into video. And they have a freemium service around premium content of video, as well as mostly supported through advertisements otherwise. Now, let me go back to Ankit. And Ankit, ask you, how do you monetize typically? This is a little bit, your company is slightly different because it does not deal with the consumer world so much, but it does deal with the SMBs, et cetera, who are putting a video out there. So what's your monetization model? How do you bring in the things that VCs ask, which is recurring nature of revenue and all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So as you rightly mentioned that monetization will happen through advertisements, and now there is an interesting pattern that's happening is we are seeing content on mobile devices, right? So it has to be short form. So for example, if I have to watch a 1-minute video, I cannot watch a 1-minute advertisement, right? So advertisement has to be like 5 to 10 second ads that I see, and it has to be optimized for mobile devices, right? So that is the market that we are really targeting, where we are helping businesses or the brands create these small little ads that they can put it out on Facebook or YouTube, right? And the good part is if they go for a conventional method of going to professional and creating videos, they end up paying a lot of money. For example, let's say 1 lakh for a video, and then they have total budget of 5 lakh. So they will end up 4 lakh on spending to advertise, right? But whereas with a tool like ours, they can create a video for like $2,000 or $3,000, and then they can spend rest of the amount for promoting it to in the right market, right? So I mean so we are trying to bring more recurring into the nature, right? So essentially now. Let's say if a business was creating 1 video per month, now we are saying you can create 10 video in a month, right, in that same price point. And so
very interesting. Very interesting. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit now because we have all 3 entrepreneurs here. I wanted to hear a little bit about your personal stories because you all have actually product companies, right? 2 are software products and 1 is a hardware cum software product. So it's very interesting mix. I wanted to ask you guys to spend like few minutes on your journeys and early experiences, any advice that you have for the group here, both on product, your journey of having created it, opportunities you saw, challenges you faced, or just some learnings, and on acquiring customers. So maybe start with Subrat.
Sure. So back in 2014, actually we started Biduli with the only idea to help any YouTube channels, to get discovered their videos and to help them to increase their, viewership and audience base. That was the basic idea. That's how we started Viduli. But let me, give you guys my background. I actually come from a product background, worked company like Jabong, IndiaMart, and there actually, I was, handling a lot of data and working with the marketing team. That's how I thought I saw the big opportunity in a video that is going to be very big. That's how we figured out to with Nishant and Ajay, let's jump into this idea and let's build some product, right? But to be honest, none of us come from a video background, right? So we actually started editing this product back into 2014. I'm talking about 13 end year, like December, that, how, we can build something around video. Because that point of time, everybody was talking, hey, video is going to be the next big thing. Whether we should start a streaming service or whether we should start a live streaming product or something like analytics or something around. Like if you look at Facebook and Twitter API, right? A lot of products have been built, like Hootsuite, like talk anyone, even Buffer, right? So that is motivated us, let's build something around on a big platform, right? So that's how, if we saw YouTube is big, because the numbers actually, gave us a lot of insight. Like, YouTube is the third largest traffic generated website and second largest search engine next to Google, right? So we thought, let's figure out the problem in YouTube first, right? That is how, we saw, a lot of creators actually putting a lot of effort to create good quality content. And you'll imagine, you'll surprise, there are more than 3 crore of, YouTube channels on YouTube who are actually making money. And they are the original creator, right? So the only challenge...
Subrat, just talk a little bit about the product.
Yeah.
Not so much the market, about YouTube, etc. But if you had any specific insight into the pain point that the content creating community across individual creators or MCNs were having, which you were able to identify and then build a product around it.
Exactly. So all these guys, they're creating content. Like, so, hardly, out of these 3 million content creators, right? Most of them, when they publish a video on YouTube, right? Hardly they get 10,000 views in a first month, right? Only because of due to, poor optimization, putting the right tag, targeting the right audience, right? That is how we figured out, let's build something because, marketing analytics suite that will actually give a lot of insights to these YouTubers, from, putting a title on the video to what time to publish the video to, what content you should create, right? So let's say you are a comedy channel, right? And you are always creating content related to comedy, but you don't know, your subscribers are, interested to watch music content, right? So if you get these stats, you can probably create a music comedy content, right? That will give, more personalized to your subscriber, right? So that is, all these, sort of small problems were there, in YouTube ecosystem, and we figured out, let's building some features with this problem statement. And that's how, we launched the beta in end of 2014. And till then, we are serving around, 5,000 plus YouTube channel globally and helping them, to grow their viewership, to grow their audience base, and, grow their revenue as well.
Understood. So I'll just, in the interest of time, I think we'll go to Sai quickly because he has a different take to the product. He's got a hardware and a software. So if you can tell us the challenges that,
so we are a end-to-end product company. We build hardware and we design software. We are not limited to TV alone. You will be seeing something very different from us very, very soon. We are an out-and-out product company which believes in making connected experiences. Like even with TV is television and the phone. The challenges are pretty simple, obviously. Like you're trying to make hardware and software and sell to in a market like India and probably soon Southeast Asia. So the challenges are quite obvious to everyone. But I believe that there's a lot of potential in hardware in India because there are like 300 million odd people who will be first buying a smartphone. Smartphone खरीदने के बाद चुप नहीं बैठेंगे ना, कुछ और तो खरीदेंगे. So I'm sure that they're going to buy a lot more. So I think there's a lot of potential, but it's just that yes, hardware and software is definitely difficult, but it's fun, a lot more fun than anything else.
Got it. So I just had one last question for the panelists in general before I'll come for a few Q&A questions from the audience. So this whole content piece also has a little bit of a content ramification to it, where the large broadcasters or content owners typically charge through your noses to pay for the content, which has been the experience with several companies in the US, for example. We touched upon it a little bit, where Subrat, you mentioned that, look, there is a long tail of individual non-premium content creators who will balance out the scale in the in the overall frame. But I still don't see. I still see that the broadcasters have access to a ton of content which consumers want to see and are actually consuming on YouTube, apart from the long tail. So I wanted to invite both, your views as well as, Sai, what you guys feel. How will you guys wrestle out content in case you wanted to have access to the broadcasters' premium content.
So there's just a small correction there. All the major broadcasters in India, Star, Sony, Colors, they've all withdrawn their content from YouTube now. It used to be on YouTube. They've all started Hotstar, Sony Live, and Colors. All of them have gone on. So they've started using the head now. कि यार फालतू में Google को काहे पैसे दें? Like we can put it up on our own sites and make money. So their content is definitely available online and on their own sites. Now, whether can it be bought onto on-demand TV in the way we do it is something that we will be launching in the next 2 weeks, wherein you will be able to see all of this content on your television. But they've done a smart move by pulling it out of YouTube because that content deserves a better place than the mess that is YouTube. YouTube is a mess. I think that Subrat also agrees with that. It needs a lot of picking and choosing to find the right video that you want to watch. But it's a fantastic place. You can be entertained for hours together, but you have to find the right place.
Subrat?
Yeah, I mean, even I can see the change. Most of these big broadcaster companies are pulling their content from YouTube and creating their own OTT. And I mean, even I see, a company like Eros, right? They have a very large library, movie library, right? And even they're trying to build their own OTT, just to only reason why they're pulling their content only because of less monetization. Because when you're a creator and when you have a content on YouTube, so the monetization actually depends on YouTube, right? I mean, and your viewership, where your viewership is coming. Even let's say if you are getting good views from US, so your monetization will be little higher because your CPM will be higher, right? In a country like US, but when you are getting views from, let's say, a country like Pakistan, Bangladesh, right? Their YouTube monetization is not there, right? And you are not going to make any single money, right? That is the only reason, why all these broadcasters are pulling their content from YouTube and creating, putting on their own OTT. And even, Star already doing Hotstar, and Eros is planning to do on Eros Now Live, and even Viacom 18 is also launching their own OTT.
Very interesting. So we'll, without much further ado, open it to any audience questions.